Hello everyone, welcome back to the SSIS tutorials. Thanks for watching all my videos till now, and I request you to subscribe if you haven't done so far for easily understanding the SSIS technology. Okay, we have been seeing the basics of SSIS technology for a quite long time now, and today I'm just going to take you through one of the important and very useful and very basic stuff in SSIS technology, which is nothing but for each loop container. Okay, why do we need for each loop container, and what is the difference between for loop and for each loop container? This question I have to answer before I take you through how do we actually implement it. The basic difference between for loop and for each loop container is if the number of iterations is known in advance, then you go for loop container. If not, you go for each loop container. So this basic difference holds good in all object oriented technologies and in SSIS as well. Okay, in SSIS, where and all we can use this for each loop container. There may be situations where you want to copy or move certain set of files from one folder to another folder, or you may need to process a data table one by one and the rows inside a data table one by one, or you may even want to process certain set of values in an object variable one by one. So in these situations, you might not be knowing the actual number of iterations that it will take, because it all depends on the number of files in folder, number of records in data table, etc. So in such scenarios, you have to use for each loop container. Okay, in our case, I just want to show you how to copy or move a file from source folder to destination folder. I have two folders here, one is source, another is destination. In my source folder, as you can see, I have multiple files present here. Few are docx files, one is XLSX file, other is a JPEG file, and other is an MP4 file. So I just want to copy all these files to my destination folder, which is empty right now. Okay, how do we do that? Before I take you through actual implementation, I just have to show you some basic variables that we will be using in this package. We have to tell you, we have to tell the package the folder in which the files have to be taken from, and the folder to which the files have to be placed to. One is source path, which has the source folder path. Second is destination path, which will be having the destination folder path. Okay, and in order to capture the whole path of the file to be copied, right, we just use another variable which is called source file variable. This is an expression which I have written, which will give me the complete path or full path of the file to be copied or moved. Okay, so how do I create, how do I form the complete path? Is I just use the source folder, which is nothing but source path variable, and current file variable. So this current file variable will be populated as and when we go through files one by one in a for each loop container. Right now it will be empty. Only after the for each loop container is executed, this current file variable will get its value. Okay, so we have folder name here, and this particular variable has to have the file name along with the extension. Okay, so which will give me the complete path of the file which has to be moved or copied. Okay, so source path has folder name and current file has the file name with its extension. So combining these two will give me full path of the file to be copied or moved. Okay, so for that we are just declaring one more variable for current file, which we will be using in the for each loop container, and we need to drag and drop for each loop container from the toolbox. I just drag and drop now. Once you drag and drop, just double click it. We have to perform certain configurations. Go to collection. The first thing that you need to choose is type of enumerator. In our case, we're just going to move files between folders, so I have to choose for each loop file enumerator. If you want to deal with objects, then you have to choose for each item enumerator, or accordingly. There are different types of enumerators available. You have to choose accordingly from your requirement. For example, if you are going to loop through an object variable which has set of paths or set of records in the form of data table, then you will use this variable enumerator. So I'm just going back and choosing for each file enumerator, and we have to mention the folder in which it has to look into for copying or moving the files. Okay, I can directly mention here whatever path I want to give. I can mention directly here, but that will be called hard coding. So we should avoid hard coding as much as possible. So how do we mention the folder to be traversed? There is an expression stuff here. Expand that, you will be seeing something called directory property. Directory is nothing but the folder path, and here point to the variable which you have declared, which has the folder path actually. Okay, C, users, desktop, source, this is my folder path. So I'm just dragging and dropping source path variable, and I'm saying okay. And then we have just mentioned the source folder to be looked on to in expressions. Second is type of files. While we say we are using for each loop container, we have to tell the package that type of file that it has to look into. If it is star, then it is going to copy or move all the types of files it is finding in the source folder. In our case, we have docx file, we have jpeg file, we have mp4 file, and an xlsx file, right? So if you say star, all these types of files will be transferred from source to destination. But if you specifically want to transfer just to the docx file, right, I just say docx. Or you specifically want to move a xlsx file, right, star.xlsx. So similarly, you have to choose according to your requirement. Okay. Final thing is retrieve file name. When I told about the current file variable, right, I talked about getting the name and extension of the file being traversed. Okay, so we have mentioned the directory. For each loop container is going to traverse the files one by one. While it traverses, what do we need? Which information do we need from the for each loop container? Only the name and extension of the variable, file, or fully qualified path of the file, or only the name of the file. In our case, we have created source file variable, which is combining source path variable and current file variable. So source path is just having the folder path, and current file is supposed to have the file name along with the extension. So I'm just choosing name and extension. If you choose fully qualified, which is the default thing, then it will also extract the full path of the file being transferred. Okay, right now we don't want this because we have created the full path using source file variable. So I'm just taking name and extension, and I don't have any subfolder, so I don't want to copy any of the files in subfolder, so I am leaving it as such. And third one is variable mapping. We have to mention the variable in which we have to capture the name and extension of the file being traversed. Okay, so I'm just mentioning the index as 0 and current file as the variable name and saying okay. So we have configured the for each loop container successfully. So what I did, I mentioned type of the enumerator, and I mentioned an expression. In that we chose the directory path, and then we mentioned the type of file to be traversed, and we just selected the option in which we want to capture the file name and extension of the file. Okay, and since we want to copy or move the file, I'm just going to use one another native tool present in the toolbox, which is nothing but file system task. Okay, so this file system task can help us copying or moving files from one folder to another folder. So I'm just double clicking it, and the first thing that we want to make is whether we need to copy the file or move the file. Let us say we are going to move the file. Okay, and we have to mention from where the files to be moved and to where. Okay, so it is asking whether the source path is present in the variable. Yes, we have all source path and destination path present in variables, so I'm just choosing true in both the places, and if I choose true, I have to give the variable name. Okay, so this is the complete path of the source file to be moved to the destination, and destination variable I can just give the folder path. We need not give the complete path of the destination variable destination file. I just choose the folder to which it has to be moved. Okay, and there is an option for deciding whether it has to overwrite the file or not. If you are moving some file in some name which is already there in the destination folder, what do you want to do? Whether you need to overwrite the file or not. If there is a file with same name already present in the destination folder and you have chosen overwrite destination to be false, then it will throw an error. Otherwise it is going to overwrite the file without throwing any error. In our case, let us keep it false and I'll say OK. So the setup is done. Let me try to run it. It's throwing error. Let's see. Could not find file, desktop, source. So there is some problem while we have set up the file system task. We have chosen source path, which is nothing but a folder name. We should have chosen source file. Okay, I'm just saying okay. I'm saving the package and starting. As you can see, it has completed, but unless we look into the source and destination folders, we can't be sure whether it has executed or not. I'm opening source folder, it is having nothing, and opening destination folder, it is having all the files that were present in source folder. Okay, that's fine. So this is how we use for each loop container for copying or moving a file. Okay. And one more important property of for each loop container that I want to cover in this session is maximum error count property. Okay, when you click on for each loop container and click on F4, you will be seeing the properties of the for each loop container. Here by default it will be having the value as 1. What does it mean? See, when you do certain things repeatedly using a for each loop container, if it fails in the middle, you have to decide whether it has to move on to other objects or it has to stop the entire package. Okay, so this decision you can make using this particular property. It is a very important property which you have to consider when you use for each loop container. I am going to copy certain files, and in the interim some files might not get transferred or moved properly. In that scenario it is going to throw an error. And what should happen to the rest of the files which are not yet copied? Okay, so if you choose 0, then it is going to ignore current failure and proceed with other files or other objects in the for each loop container. Okay, so by default it is 1. It means that if something in the middle goes wrong, it is going to stop the entire flow. If you don't want to do that and you have to keep continuing the for each loop operation, just mention 0. Okay, so that's it with the basics of for each loop container. I'll publish more such videos for your information and for your understanding. Please subscribe if you haven't done so far. Let's see in the next video. Thank you for watching.